Well, hello, everybody. This is Max, and this is my podcast. This is the first episode I'm doing for my Rumble and for my YouTube channel. And if any other network like RSBN specifically wants to pick it up, they're welcome. I want to say hi to everybody and wish you all well. It's the weekend. It's Sunday, the 10th of January, and it's been a very interesting week. So we can recap a little bit, and I know there's a lot of more frustration, stress, fear, all these kind of things going on from a lot of people. I'm noticing there's been purges, and there's been lions, and there's been tigers and bears. Oh my! There really has been a lot going on. I've seen a lot of things in my life, and this is just chalk this up as another one, frankly. I'm going to take you. I'm going to point out a couple of different things. First of all, recapping the week really quick. A lot of garbage going on down in basically just a lot of garbage in DC. I'm not going to even go through all of that. No place for violence on either side, and it seems like people just in here there got frustrated and other people overreacted, and then everybody else. There's a lot of conspiracies, which are probably justified, that are going around. I'm not going to peel through all of that. In due time, we'll know what exactly happened. So some clarity came in. I'm happy that a lot of people are safe, though, that were there. And I know a lot of people that went there and told me that they were safe. And, and it was mostly a peaceful protest, frankly. That's what it was. So, but there's no place for violence ever. I'm moving on, though. I want to just, say to you about specifically the purge, which seems to be the big thing, and the move by big tech, which has really interested me over the last couple of days. And I've seen my Parler account explode, and I'm watching my Gab account explode, and I'm also watching their servers get overloaded. And they're going to. Gab is clearly, it's got its own server, so it's upgrading as fast as it can. To those that are worried that Parler's going down, I said it yesterday, I'm going to say it again. They're not disappearing. That's what I meant. Some morons out there, that have low IQs, frankly, thought I was saying that nothing was going to happen to Parler. I never said that either. I think Parler's never going to go away. It may be down. I was going off of what the CEO said. He said it. It may be down for a week, but they'll be back up. So that's it. They may be down for a few days, but they'll be back up. This is going to be great because it's going to force these companies, first of all, forces a lot of people off of big tech, and it's going to force these companies to innovate quickly and upgrade quickly. And they're going to have the resources to do it, I believe, because I think investment comes when people create a demand, and suddenly there's a major demand. Now, let me move quickly to the big tech, the big three, we'll call them right now. Like NBC, CBS, and ABC were the big three, and now they're nothing because of talk radio and because of alternatives like Fox News and Newsmax and OWN and the internet made those three very irrelevant. But let's talk about the internet. Used to be open, free access, right? That was it. The internet really is open and free access. It's manipulated by algorithms, but the World Wide Web is pretty much free. I mean, you can get an ISP. Your ISP gives you access to it. And there are alternative browsers because of the attack on Microsoft 20 years ago, which was a big monopoly in its day by the federal government. Talking about what is going on using the attack on alternative platforms for free speech. Well, it's pretty much our fault and everybody else's fault. It's everybody's fault, right? I mean, we all relied on Twitter. And how many years now has the president been pretty much exclusively on Twitter? I've said it over and over and over and over again. I'm sure many of you have too. I wish he had opened a Gab account. And I know there's supposed to be a verified account of his on Gab. Maybe that is him. Maybe it's not. But and maybe it is. I hope it is him. But the thing is that, I mean, he should have. His whole family, I think, is on Parler. He should have been on Parler a year ago, I think, or months ago. I think, though, we've needed an alternative, and competition is good in a capitalistic society. So just giving Twitter all of this attention. Let's go back in time. Twitter began in the 2000s. It was nothing. And I had a Twitter account on my old BlackBerry phone, and I remember thinking, this is crazy. I had looked like I had 4 people on there at any one time. and everyone's just saying dumb things like, I just got up and I took a shower and I just made dinner. I made breakfast and then I had dinner. I mean, it was boring stuff back in the day. Remember that? I don't know. I mean, I was younger. I deleted the app. It wasn't even an app back then. It was just a software program, which is all an app is, by the way. And then when I upgraded to my Android, I like Androids. I downloaded it in 2000. I think I downloaded it in 2015, and I actually had it on an account online in 2012. And there was an echo chamber back then, and I forgot about that. I just thought remember that, and I had this, and it was the same handle I have now, I think. And I remember just being on there for a few months, and during the 2012 election, and I was out there, I was tweeting, and I got up to like 105 followers, and I went, ooh, this is fantastic. I'm so important. And then I noticed that all we were doing was like echoing. Like it's ironic that Parler calls it echoing, because that's exactly what it is an echo chamber. And then I just deleted the account. And then 4 years later, because of Donald Trump, I came back, like many of you have, and I became an active user, and I've been there ever since. But I disappear from there from periods of time because I get bored with it. And to me, it's not an integral part of my life. I found it funny that the president used it so much to communicate, but it's because of it's sort of like I look at it, these social messaging apps, which are software applications on your phone, which is the convenience, right? Because we have these mobile phones now that we didn't like to the extent where they have high speed internet associated with them. We didn't have that 12 or 13 years ago. It's helped these companies really expand, right? Otherwise, people would have to go home, jump on their computer, and that's the only way you could access Twitter. It would have been a lot smaller. And that's what made these companies blow up. But what I'm trying to do is put this in perspective for you. When you really look at it, we're talking about 10 years of history, 12 years max. And we're talking about specifically the last 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, how much did Donald Trump do for Twitter? Quite a lot. When he finally settles on a new platform, whether he creates his own, whether another one starts up, or whether he's on Parler or Gab, whatever it is, he's taking 88 to 100 million people with him. And so the thing about it, the monthly the monthly users on Twitter is about 300 million. Right now, I think Parler is somewhere between 5 and 7 million. Once someone like Trump lands on there and they upgrade their servers and their systems, which they will, and they go more independent, like Twitter is independent for the most part, you're going to see that explode. And so, look, oppression by its very nature creates the power that destroys it, and life finds a way, right? Okay, so it'll burst through. You can't control people, and you can't control and restrict demand. I mean, demand is gonna if people want something, they're gonna get it. There's nothing you can do about it. You can try to influence it, but beyond that, I'm gonna say it. One of my favorite lines from one of my favorite movies: "Life finds a way." And that's what we're dealing with right now. And we're evolving quickly, and these platforms will evolve quickly to deal with that. And I actually think my cousin Rocky jumped on Twitter, not Twitter, I'm sorry, Parler yesterday, and he said I like it better than Twitter. He was never active. He had a Twitter account. He was never active. I don't even think I followed him on Twitter, and he was never active. He jumped on there. I like this better. All of a sudden, he's parlaying. I thought that was funny, and it's actually, I love it. More than 240 characters. It seems like once they get the bugs out, this is actually pretty good. I think they need to improve their direct messaging part. There's direct messaging service, and I think they have to of course they have to make it a little smoother, but that'll come in time. There are ways of improving things. But I mean, really, when you look at it, Parler's basically what Twitter was 10 years ago, or even 8 years ago. So this is just going to be a momentary inconvenience at best. Now, the big three. What are they doing? Well, they figure they're going to deplatform them. Oh, big deal. They did this to the conservative treehouse. It lasted for like a week. Wow, major inconvenience. Now the conservative treehouse is completely independent. Free speech. They can do whatever they want. Nothing can do anything about it. I mean, they really can't. And when I Google them, they come right up. You type in the last refuge, it pops right up. So, there's really nothing they can do. Okay, you say, well, it's going to impact the servers, right, are going to, well, people will just go back online onto their computers, or you can use your browser. They're going to, if they take it off of the marketplace. I mean, if they, they took it off of Google Marketplace, is it Google Play? They took it off of Apple Store. Oh, big deal. I mean, it's an inconvenience, but the thing is this: you could find the app still to download from third-party sites. It still functions if it's on your phone. You can't get an upgrade. They'll allow they'll probably develop it so you can access it'll once they change platforms, they'll probably be able to link it to that hosting site, and you'll be able to download an update directly from the site, or you'll be able to access the website and download patches. It'll be a little clunky to use the term, but if you're really thinking about it, it's nothing unlike what we had 8 or 10 years ago with other services. I mean, I had to remember when you had to actually go and download updates to different softwares. You had to go to the website for a software application that you had on your computer, and you had to actually access it. It didn't automatically necessarily update, and it wasn't part of a package where you would go to one major site that hosted all of these applications and all of these updates. Like Windows Update hosts it doesn't just host Windows Update, it also hosts through the Windows, through Microsoft, they host a lot of other applications that are not related to Microsoft, that aren't owned by them. It's the same thing, so it's just making an inconvenience. What about what's going on YouTube, the censoring? Again, our fault. We actually made YouTube too big. Also a mistake, the government should have never allowed Google to buy it. And that's something that a lot of Democrats and Republicans are going to have to work towards in the future, breaking up these monopolies. Because when the thing becomes, you remember Standard Oil? No, nobody remembers Standard, unless they're a historian like me. Standard Oil had a monopoly on transportation and had a monopoly on oil specifically, right? It was broken up. You look at the radio and television industry when they began. They were heavily regulated by the government. The government has an oversight into it. Eventually, these companies are either going to have to become public utilities, like electricity, like water, or they're going to have to actually be broken up and heavily regulated. In any case, it's going to happen. It's a matter of time, because you look at that antitrust suit against Facebook, Democrat and Republican states, 48 states suing them. Something's going to happen to Facebook eventually. They're going to be broken up. So these things, it's going to take time. We're moving fast, and that's the problem, right? And it seems to be fast. They're like, we're being pushed off. We're not going to be able to communicate. BS. Well, of course we're going to be able to communicate. Right away, you got Rumble as an alternative. YouTube, their policies are evolving, so it'll be interesting to see what they say. But it'll be very, to deplatform a bunch of big accounts, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know if that's profitable to their bottom end. We'll see. But there'll be other alternatives. I mean, I remember when Instagram wasn't even popular. I didn't even know. I still don't use it. And then I think to myself, the things I don't use Facebook, I don't use Instagram, I don't use this, I don't use that. People throw this stuff at me. I never bought on this website, I never bought on that website. So I think people out there need to, I know some people live on apps. I don't. The one I'm thinking about most, really, besides YouTube deplatforming, like Bannon, for instance, which I think was wrong. Let's face it. I mean, it's Twitter, and with the censoring that they're doing, and we'll see where it goes. We'll see if it lasts. But there'll be other alternatives, and other things will open up, and we'll see if it, long term, if this is something that is just a momentary hiccup. I also want to tell you guys to, so. Be at peace. Will you relax? Okay. And I know there's a lot of rumors flying around out there. There always is. Oh, this is happening, and that's happening, and this is happening. And look what's happening in this part of the world, in some unknown country no one's ever heard of. The lights went out. People, listen. I mean, you can run after every little story if you want to. If that's something that makes you, that's like what you like to do. Some people like to do. I don't like to do that. I like to just, I'm the type that likes to just wait, kind of see things, rationalize them, see where everything's going, and provide a little analysis. But the thing is, I don't want people to do is I want them to be peaceful. I want them to be calm. I want them to, not get their blood pressure up. Stay healthy, drink water, get some sleep, put on a good movie. I'm serious. I'm the type of person who likes to put on a good movie, relax with family, watch something, have fun, because we've been through many crises. I mean, like I said to you, these big companies, they're not going to be the last word. John D. Rockefeller was one of the most powerful men in the history of the planet. I mean, he was right up there, and guess what? He got broken up by a president, broke him up, and a government that didn't like what he was doing. Eventually, when you see the ACLU coming out against a social media company on behalf of the president yesterday, oh, that's significant, and it goes to show you there's a lot of people on both sides of the political spectrum that don't like big tech. They don't like them. Period. End of conversation. And so eventually something's going to happen there. Well, anyway, I just want you guys to just relax and to take some be some peace at it, and hopefully you feel you get something out of it. You can look at it a little more objectively and step back from it and realize that it's a narrative, that it's going to run its course, and things are never out of the control of the Lord. He's always in control. Always in control. I mean, you think about the first century church, my gosh, think about the Christians living under Nero's oppression. My Lord, that was, go back and read what they went through. And, their own people didn't like them, right? And, so these are things that, people go through things, and Western civilization goes through a lot of stuff, and it survives. Well, anyways, listen, I love you guys. I want to thank you all for the support. I want to thank you guys all for the kind words. I want to thank you for the affection. I really appreciate it. So I'm flattered, honored, humbled by it. If you'd like to support me, go ahead. There should be a link under the description, or you can go to my Twitter account at Maximus_4EVR on there to follow me on there. I do have a link to my my PayPal on there, and I'm on Parler now a lot at Maximus_4EVR, and Gab is the same as my Twitter handle at Maximus_4EVR. Love you guys. God bless you. We'll talk to you later. Okay, hang in there, and ciao.